Doing good.
Affirmative. Everybody doing well this morning?
Great.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. David Jones in the house already this morning. That's great.
Yeah, my other call, thank you, Jay, is my other one only lasted 30 minutes. That was good.
Perfect. Hey, more Jones is always a good thing. So that's great. We're going to start out with some fill a buckets as we've been doing the last few weeks. Now let me throw something before we start. So right after fill a buckets, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to promote a listing that you have. So if you have a listing you want to promote, I want you to type in the chat box, put your name in the chat box and just say, I have a listing, and I'm going to call on you. Does that sound good? So we're not overstepping one another. All right, let's fill a bucket. Who's got a bucket we want to fill right now?
I'm going to fill Cindy Powell's bucket. She just did transmittal for both market centers simultaneously, and it was fun. We worked a lot of hours, and I'm very grateful that she was on the weekend helping, and late Monday night and late Tuesday night, and so we knew it was going to be a stretch and new systems in place. So I mean, she went above and beyond with a smile. So Cindy, thank you so much for being an amazing leader.
Awesome. I concur, and I told her to take a day off soon.
When's that? Not too soon. Just kidding.
All right. Got you, Jody. I'll come to you in a few minutes. Who else has buckets they want to fill?
I'd like to fill a bucket, please.
Go for it.
So I had a Vertigo episode about a week and a half ago, and my team and our broker, Lisa Sullivan, was there for me. They just took over. They went to a home inspection. They did all the paperwork. They did everything, and I could just come out of that Vertigo spell in a better way. And I know that everybody is there for me, and I love my family. So thank you all.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Who else? Anyone else have a bucket they want to fill this morning? Looking at all these fine people here. Excellent. Going once, going twice. All right. So we're going to transition before we go to our vendor partners. Let's promote a listing. So Jody, you're the only one in. If you have a listing you want to promote, enter your name into the chat box that I can call on you. But Jody, the floor is yours.
Awesome. So I've got a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car up in Saddlebrook Ranch. It is coming on the market here in the next few weeks. If you have any interest in a casita in Saddlebrook Ranch, they're called casitas because they're small. Give me a ring. I do not have a solid price yet, but please let me know if you have some interest.
Awesome. Anybody else have a listing that they would like to promote? We're going to make this a part of every team meeting, so come ready. If you've got listings. All right, Mara, perfect. Mara, go. You got the floor.
Remembering to unmute. This one, I'm actually just meeting them today, so it's not live yet, but we know how fast things are going. So it's near Oracle and River, sort of, and it's a small place. It'll only be around 130, and again, we know what that price point's like. It's just a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, kind of basic, but again, that price point is crazy. So if you know anybody has a cute little backyard areas, small, but anyway, cute townhome. Probably needs a little work, but so hopefully a Keller Williams person can get it.
Yeah,
let me know.
good. That's exactly what we're hoping to have happen. That's fantastic. Thanks, Mara. Anybody else? 3, 2, 1. All right, let's move on to our favorite affiliates. Colleen or Heather, how about you go first, and then Colleen?
Good morning, everyone. So I was waiting.
Shirt.
What?
Look at your fancy shirt.
Yes, I match. It's very good. I got my 210 on here. So
Nice.
hey, I wanted to wait until it was my time to speak to fill a bucket, and I want to fill Keller Williams bucket because for me, I always look at our numbers, want to make sure we're doing what we say we're going to do and that we pay our claims. Last month, we paid for the month of June 91 claims, which was a total dollar amount of $16,163.99, and that was for Keller Williams. So year to date so far, we've paid $81,125, and that was 495 claims. But what's so cool is that last month we actually had 59 warranties ordered for June, and in this not normal market, you all did well beyond what you did last year, which was 57. So you sold 2 over than what you did last year. So congratulations, you all are busting a move, and I'm very, very proud of you. Very thankful also. We had 19 listings that were ordered. That's that seller coverage. So if we had last month 59 actual units closed, but we had 19 listings, let me help you with that listing coverage. It's free. It's $19,500. If you know that a buyer is going to be, or a buyer plan is going to be purchased, then let me help you put that free coverage on. You can even use it during the inspection time too, if there's breakdowns of normal wear and tear. So electrical, heating, plumbing, and appliances are free. Just let me help you enroll it. And then if you want, like I talked about last week, Brandy Lopez took advantage of that extra $50 air conditioning. We got a brand new coil for her seller right before closing. So anyways, just wanted to say thank you. Really appreciate you all. Really miss you. And I hope you're all very healthy and safe and well. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Heather. Thank you. We really appreciate that, and continue.
Hey, Heather, was
Yeah.
because I just happened to get a report like 20 minutes ago. So she said,
I know.
just funny. I see 64 for March and 59 for June. Is that 64 a record month?
Okay, I seriously need reading glasses right now because I cannot see this. Okay, so I'm showing in March, 64 was the actual units, and then June was 59.
Yeah, was that 64 a record though? Because that's 59 during COVID. That's phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. I have to say, I'm not sure if a record, but I can pull it all up for you and look at.
I'm all about beating records. I'm a little competitive, so.
It's phenomenal. Y'all are doing such an amazing job. Great job. Congratulations.
All right. Thanks for your support with us.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right, Miss Colleen, you're up.
Awesome. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I really miss you. We really appreciate you, and you guys are really keeping us busy. So that's a good thing in a shifting market, to know that the title and escrow companies are really busy. One of the things that I wanted to let the offices know is that over this coming weekend, the Northwest Title Security Escrow offices, along with Lori Balsino's office, who is an escrow officer at Title Security up on Sunrise, they will be switching over to the First American System network. During that time, just over the weekend, their emails will be down. So there's a lot of those escrow officers, including Lori, that reaches out to people even on the weekends. Please have patience with us. Give us grace during this weekend as they switch over the system to the new network. The other thing that I wanted to touch base on is that we are having a new phone system put in at Title Security. So I'm sure there's a lot of you out there going, thank God, it's about time, right? So that system is coming soon. And the last thing is that we do have a live stream with Mike Ferry coming on July 14th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. He'll be doing a Q&A with the CEO of First American up in Phoenix. If you would like to be included in that Zoom class with the Q&A, please reach out to Trisha Hooper or myself, and we'll get you registered. You have to be pre-registered for that event. So they are cutting it off at 500, but there are still seats available. So thank you for your business. Thank you for keeping me busy. If you're new out there and I haven't got to see you face to face, I really miss the office. Welcome to Keller Williams. We're so glad to have you, and I look forward to meeting with you soon. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Colleen. We really appreciate it. I can't see everyone that's on. Is Becky Bassett on the call for Intralind, Arizona? If not, David, do you want to speak to that, or do?
Sure.
Okay.
We are doing. So you're getting hints. You've kind of seen Becky, and probably a lot of you guys are wondering when's the official launch. So our mortgage company is called Intralind. It's an interesting model it's a really cool model that allows you to work with a multitude of lender as opposed to just one quote, just in-house lender. So we are going to be, it's all app-based, which is really cool for today's world. And we already have about 4 or 5 lenders in the app that have agreed to be on the platform. So the old days, I'll make this very short and talk about when our launch is going to start coming out. The old days, you used to have a partner and they would pay the Mortgage Center money to be that key mortgage company. Or if you look at Long, they own their own mortgage company. It's one. Our mortgage company works with all mortgage companies that would like to be on our platform. So we've got about 4 lenders so far that are on it. So instead of paying like money per month, they don't pay anything until it closes, and it's not that much, to be honest with you. It's just a part of being part of our program and getting to use all the Keller Williams agents. So we're going to be doing a rollout slow launch starting on July 14th, and we're going to start working in small groups. And you're going to see a text or an email that goes out that if you'd like to be a part of the initial rollout, you're going to reply back, and we're probably going to do groups of 20. We're going to teach you, get the app loaded on your phone, get you logged into the app, teach you how to use it, and start putting some things through. So the cool thing about it, this model directly impacts profit share. And so it's money that's going to go in, going to flow in, and going to go and participate as part of profit share of what we call other income. So you're going to start seeing, I can talk a little bit more proactively about it because we've got some of our kinks out. We've got it working. We got a finance manager on board. So we're really excited. So be ready for that. And if you want to be a part of the platform, let us know. It's really cool. And it may take a little bit of a twist on going to the app instead of just picking up the phone sometimes and doing what's called a fast track. So be expecting that. I'm very excited. Becky is wonderful. And she's called a finance manager, not a loan officer. She has been a loan officer for like 19, 20 years. So plenty good in experience. So very excited about launching it out. Don't have a lot of questions to ask, is that we're going to do in those small groups. Okay. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And I think you're going to love it. It's a perfect lender mortgage model for Keller Williams, to be honest with you. It's a perfect model because it doesn't limit you to just like one person, one mortgage company. Okay.
Awesome.
Is that good, Jay?
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. All right. Next up is we've got quarterly meeting coming up. Lisa Sullivan, do you want to speak to quarterly meeting?
Sure. So quarterly meeting is coming up on July 24th. We're going to have our standard office meeting from 8:30 to 9:30. And then from 10 to 1 is our continuing education, which is by Teresa Barnaby and Course Creators. This month's on diversity and fair housing, which I think is very timely. And don't forget, you need to register separately for that class in order to enroll. And you have to do it prior to, I think it's 24 hours ahead of time. So make sure that if you want to attend that class that you go ahead and register on their link and get that done ahead of time.
Awesome.
And it all is Zoom.
Please make sure you get that on your calendars. And if you want the CE credit, hear us very clearly. You need to register ahead of time, at least 24 hours ahead of time. Great. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it. Next up, Bold Pivot is coming back around. David, I'll let you speak to that.
So Bold Pivot August is going to be a little different model. We're going to have another guest speaker next week on Bold Pivot talking about this. It's the same basic model, except you're going to have more guests, different content, and we're actually going to be adding in true accountability into this one. It's the same price, just continuing to grow. The last one was 43,000. This one's going to have probably 10,000 only, which is we're excited about. Where it's going to be actually a little bit more interactive, probably a lot more questions answered, and it's going to be integrating accountability. So it starts on August 4th. Jay and I went out and we pre-purchased 30 registrations. Now, here's the way the registrations are going to work on there is that we have 10 of those minimum, preferably 20 that are 15 for guests. Okay. So if you have a guest that would like to be a part of Bold Pivot, come talk to Jay and I, and we'll talk about how you can get into Bold Pivot for free as well. So if you can get a guest to do Bold Pivot, talk to Jay or myself about how you can get into Bold Pivot. And of course, there's going to be some agreements on there that you're going to attend the class, you're going to be a part of it. And then with those 30, our goal is to create a small accountability group, not just a mastermind, a true accountability group. We're going to have a Google Doc, which actually Maps is creating right now. And you're going to see some guests on there. Gary is very, very interested in keeping Bold Pivot alive because the content is so mindset based. You're going to see probably Gary on those, and he's very, very involved and loves to see this product coming on because we all know that 90% of our success is mindset. So that's kind of the smallest. So if you're interested, like I said, Jay and I've already pre-purchased 30. And what we'd like to do is we'd like to do 1 for 1 on these 30. And if we need to buy more, we'll do it. And we do get a little bit of a discount. That's the reason we're able to do it, by buying those 30 into a package. So Jay, if anybody on here is interested to doing Bold Pivot and you have a guest, sounds like a win-win.
Yep. Let me know, please. I'll be glad to assist in getting that taken care of. So thank you very much, David. Coming up soon, Ignite 2.0. So if you've joined our company in the last 90 days, you have joined at an interesting time, my friend. It's been a wild ride. Many of you have jumped into classes, but we are officially rolling out Ignite 2.0. And this year it's going to be a little different, or this round will be a little different. It is not just for brand new agents. If you're an agent that needs some assistance with command, this could be a great opportunity for you to jump in because it will definitely be command-based. Dan, why don't you speak to that?
So yeah, we're doing a lot more new things command-based with this new Ignite. It's going to be fantastic. Every module and course is going to be taught by one of our great agents. And we're talking some big names. We got Aaron Wilson, got Josh Berkeley, Jay Hustetler is going to be doing out there. Some primo knowledge out there, guys, all back behind the whole command series. So please, even if you have done Ignite a couple of times, you've been in the business for a year or so, you don't have a full handle on how to use command to benefit your business, this is definitely something you want to be joined in on. So join in, help out, starts August 3rd. So I think that's about it. Any other questions, please direct them to myself or Kayla. Kayla's been doing a great job getting this all set up and running for us. So thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Next up is our fabulous broker tips. And you got 2 of the 3 brokers in one office. So look at that, 2 for 1.
We're
Wendy.
social distancing. That's why she looks so small. So we have just a few things. One thing, tomorrow for the chat, I'm going to be in Pine Top doing a class up there. So Wendy and Nancy will be doing the chat tomorrow. They're going to talk about the COVID-19 addendum. We're having a lot of questions about that, and we really want to go through that in detail and advise you of the pitfalls and the benefits of using it. There's a new Oro Valley sign permit, which those of you that work in Oro Valley will need to write on the back of your signs. That number is RWS 1701672. We'll put that in the chat box. Jay looks puzzled. And that's only for those of you that work in Oro Valley that need that. I did say we came out with the new ABA, and I haven't published it yet. I was going to try to add the lender information to that, but I still need some clarification on that. So I'm going to go ahead and put out the ABA for the title company portion today, and then we'll update the lender ABA once I get that finalized.
Awesome.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you. Hey, let me plug right here. This is a good opportunity. I know that Jody's teaching a class. Is that correct? Jody Koch, are you teaching a class next week?
I am. I'm teaching a class today from 1 to 4. If you want to know how to get a buyer consultation appointment, how to do the buyer consultation appointment, how to fill out all the buyer paperwork, and then move into identifying what kind of paperwork you need for a purchase contract, and then filling out your full purchase contract, then today is the day. So come to my class, 1 to 4. It's on Zoom. Just go to 1KWSA and click on the class. We'll see you there. If you need all the documents before the class starts and you don't have them yet, please reach out to Kayla and or the JV front desk, and we will get you those documents so you have a full package so that we can go through it together.
Awesome.
See you at 1.
All right, Carpe Diem, or Carpe Zoomum, as they would say probably today. You guys can borrow that if you want to. All right, our wonderful MCA tip, Miss Cindy Powell.
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to pass along some information about PCs or PLLCs. I've been getting a lot of agents who are acquiring their PLLC for their business. This is very easy to do. It costs less than $1,000, which is probably deductible. But what it does is it sets up a corporation for your real estate business, which will help shield you from the self-employment tax that you're paying as a 1099 contractor or miscellaneous income. We don't have this where I came from in Texas, and I'm always finding wonderful things that make me love Arizona more and more. And this is one of them. So you have the opportunity to be licensed with a PLLC. If you will go to azre.gov and then just type in PLLC in the search bar, there's a whole section on how to create it, how to, any questions you have about it, what you need to do, what the guidelines are for the Arizona Department of Real Estate and having a PLLC. But my suggestion is that you do that for your business. If you're serious about running your business and keeping more of your money, that's a great way to do it. Also, if you do have a PLLC, and I don't have that information at either market center, it would be great for us to be making sure that your checks are getting cut to your PLLC. So all we need in the MCA office is the EIN number, the letter that you got from the IRS giving you that employer identification number, and then we verify that it's been approved by AZRE, and then we can start sending, putting that on your DA, so the title company will cut your checks to your PLLC or your PC instead of to you personally. That's all I have on that.
That's a good tip. And guys, that is something you want to investigate and soon. Okay. Excellent. Heather, you got a tech tip for us? Miss Heather Olaboni. Is she muted?
Yep. Sorry. Yep, I'm here. I was muted. So opportunities is coming. My tip is if you want to go in and play with the system, you can do that with your old deals. So if you have any deals that have already closed, you can actually go in and put that information into those opportunities and practice with those clients, putting in that client, putting that opportunity in the system. This will do multiple things. It will get your numbers so that they match your goals in the system, as well as it'll let you practice using the opportunities before they go live on August 1st for them to be submitted to the brokerage.
Awesome. That's an excellent tip. Yeah, that would get you familiarized so that you're ready to go when we make the switch here pretty soon. You'll hear more about that soon. All right, Cindy, you got a culture tip?
Yes, sir. So I don't know if you know this, but you can download from KWRI a list of 52 cultural concepts or ideas that you can focus on one a week. And so I have that list, and we decided to start doing that on our team meeting. And so the one I picked for this week, and I'll be happy to take suggestions of the other ones, is taking the high road on confrontational issues or points of difference. I just felt like this one was really applicable to this day and age because there's so many people who have different viewpoints about whether to wear a mask or not to wear a mask, whether to be in public, whether not to be in public, whether to hug, whether to shake hands, whether to, whatever the difference is. It really doesn't matter. And so the difference is not what separates us. What separates us is focusing on that difference and making it into an issue. What we are is one community with all different types of backgrounds and ideas and personalities and everything. So just remember this cultural statement for the week. Take the high road on confrontational issues and points of difference, because that's a part of our culture as Keller Williams and a part of our family. So that's my cultural tip for the day, or our cultural tip for the day.
You know, I don't think I've ever been as cultured as I am right now. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Awesome. And we want to express just gratitude and thank you, all of our wonderful agents. We really appreciate you guys. And you need to know that your staff is here to serve you, to help you with any issue. I love that Jody shared that earlier. If you're having an issue and you need help, do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are here for you, and we thank you. All right, I'm going to pass the virtual baton to David Jones, as he has a great person here to interview for us today, and we're going to all learn a lot. So David, it's yours.
All right, thank you, Jay. And before I go into positive stuff, I just want to make sure that y'all saw the video that Lisa and I made yesterday. about procedures of the office, as much as we don't like it, is just what we need to do. So Lisa and I went over it yesterday, and so make sure you're checking into the office, and if you're not feeling well, stay home. You know, somebody asked, I've seen a lot of posts now, do you know anybody that's got COVID? Most people are surviving, I get it, is that, you know, there's that one or two people that if we can keep them from getting, you know, ill to a point where they, you know, some people won't make it through if they get it. So we're just going to put all the precautions in place. Make sure you sign in. You're going to sign off. You have no symptoms. And if you do, stay home. And as Jay said, feel free to reach out to us and let us know that you're not feeling well and we can help you with your business. Jody reached out to Lisa, and that was at Fill a Bucket. They're good friends, just so you know. I'm not saying this for any reason except that Jody and Lisa are fantastic friends for many, many years. Lisa's probably not able to service your listings and all your business, so I just want you to know that Jody and Lisa are really good friends. So reach out to us, and we'll probably have another agent probably help you out. Sorry, Jody, you know what I mean. And so please don't hesitate, guys. We're all going to push through. My mission is for not only for your income not to go down. My mission is for your income to maybe go up during all of this. And I'm going to go into this conversation in a minute with a really good friend of mine, Dave Norberg, on the market right now is that listing market. And so, you know, we took, everybody write down some statistics on here. I'm gonna write down some numbers. So last month, Keller Williams Southern Arizona took 184 listings. MLS took, how many, Lisa, did MLS take? I got her off guard, but
You did 1784, and that's for all of Southern Arizona. Anything in Melissa, that's residential.
it's residential.
Mhm.
So that means that Keller Williams Southern Arizona made up for 10% of the listings in all of MLS. Now, I'll be honest with you, that's a good number. 10% is a sampling number. It's enough to have market share. It's enough to be seen. And I want everybody to write this down. My mission for Keller Williams Southern Arizona, I've been always looking for that one thing, is 25% of all the listings being taken by a Keller Williams agent. Who wants to be a part of that? You got to unmute yourself to say something. Who wants to be a part of that?
Hell yeah.
I do.
Yes, sir.
Oh, there you go. Got it. So I believe if, you know, what you focus on, somebody answer me.
Expands.
Expands. Thank you, Jody. One of my bold, long-term bold graduates, is what you focus on expands. So today I want to introduce a good friend of mine. I had the luxury, and he'll think, you know, I coached for 5.5 years. A lot of you guys know from MAPS Coaching. And I had the luxury of coaching Dave Norberg. And I'll be honest with you, when I got assigned and they said, hey, I want you to coach Dave Norberg, I'll be honest with you, Dave Norberg was somebody I looked up to as a mentor. He's a guy I looked up to and said, you know, what is he going to learn from me? And what Dave's mission was to really start a path of retirement and learning leverage and bringing people as predecessors and other things like that. And I was very excited to hear the other day, he texted me, and he sold his house in San Diego, and now him and his wife are retired in Reno, Nevada. Is that right, Dave?
Yes. We're still going to do real estate part-time in Reno, so if you got any leads, we're excited.
I was going to follow up with that. I didn't want to leave you leg. I was going to say, he's still, you know, you're not going to go, but I love the fact you guys. So guys, I want to introduce you to a good friend of mine. So Dave, why don't you just introduce yourself, tell a bit about yourself, if you don't mind, how long you've been in real estate. I'm going to give you the floor just to get them to know you just a little bit, because they don't know you like I know you. So Dave Norberg, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. So I was raised in Minnesota. I moved to California, San Diego 37 years ago or whatever. And the reason I went to California is because I had just went broke in Minnesota, lost everything I had. And so I went to California with $5 in my pocket. I got a job working in construction for a couple of years until I got my head screwed on straight, and then went into real estate. When I went into real estate, I had $245 to my name. And we had a 2-week training class. During that training class, we had to call some for sale by owners and expireds, and I get done with training on Friday. I made an appointment with a for sale by owner Saturday morning. Got my first listing Saturday morning. Got an offer on Monday on it, and it closed 28 days later, and I got my first commission check of $1,800, and I thought, yippee, I can make it another month. One of the things that I had been in sales before, so I knew that as a salesperson, our main job is talking to people. And, you know, in Bold, I've been through Bold 9 times, and what's the magic number? 20 contacts a day. And over the years, I've had many people come to me and say, what I got to do to improve my business, what I got to do this, or how. And I always tell them that if you will speak to 20 people a day, every day that you work with scripts, you'll sell more real estate than you ever thought possible. And so it's been a great ride. We've been, this is our 32nd year in real estate. My wife and I, we just celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary, and we've been together for 37 years. We have 2 lovely daughters, and I love fishing. So I go fishing all over the world. So that's a
Great.
quick scenario.
So thank you very much. And so I love to, I love hearing Dave's story because, you know, Dave was at the bottom and he worked his way up. And to be honest with you, he told you you gave the light version of your story as well too. So there's a lot more to his story. He actually was living in his car at one time, everybody. So if you think you're in a place where you can't get out of it, I can promise you Dave's been in a lower place. Now, what Dave said, we quote a lot in Bold, I quote in coaching. And that is, there's nothing that there's 2 parts he said right there that people miss. One is 20 contacts a day is very easy. Talk to 20 people a day. Now, I got a lot of people on this call. What I'd love to know is, what was the second part of the 20 contacts a day? It wasn't just 20 contacts a day.
Scripts.
Scripted.
Follow a script. So before we go any further, I'm going to show you a little bit about a 7-minute video. Dave already warned him I was going to show this video. This is probably one of my favorite videos, and this was a video that if you've ever done Bold before, you've gotten this video. It's a 7-minute section out of the minute, I think it's 7, out of the middle of it. And we have extra time today, so we started earlier than I thought, so I'm not scared to show the video for time. What I want you to watch, though, if you've ever taken Bold or you've ever studied scripts, for my people that have done Bold several times, Jody, you're going to love this video, because what you're going to hear in this video is Dave is using scripts verbatim. Not sort of like exact words. So, Kayla, I'm going to do my best right now to try and do this. Here it is right here. Do I have to share my sound, do you know?
This is the one.
Do y'all see the video?
Yeah, it's coming up, Dave.
Got it. Okay, I'm gonna, is the sound going through or no?
Yep,
Yes?
it was rolling.
Elmer, this is David Norbert calling. I'm with Keller Williams Realty, and I was calling about your property I see that you had for sale.
Hey, David, you have to actually share your sound.
That's what I thought. Okay, there we go. I think we got it.
I'm selling that myself.
You're selling that yourself?
Right.
Good.
Yeah, great. Well, I've been working with buyers and sellers here in the area for the last 19 years, and I was just calling to see how I might be of assistance to you.
You know, I've had 15, 16 calls on this in the last couple of days from realtors.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, ouch. That must get frustrating. Yeah. And well, let me ask you this, Elmer. What would have to happen before you'd consider hiring a powerful agent like myself for the job of selling your home?
Well, if I don't get it sold in another 30, 45 days, I got to do something because I've got to get it sold.
I see. So if you don't get it sold in the next 30 to 45 days, you'd consider that.
Yeah, and another, right.
Right.
Another couple of months here or so.
And so if you sold the home, Elmer, where do you plan on going next?
We're going to Los Angeles.
You're going to LA?
Yeah.
That's great. And how soon did you have to be there?
Well, I've got to be up there August 1st.
August 1st. Fantastic. And what's bringing you to LA?
It's a job transfer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you're getting in a job transfer.
I'm not happy about it, but they're sending me up there. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if I should say congratulations or sorry to hear that. And so you're moving up to LA, and how would you rate your motivation to actually sell the home on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, I got to get it sold, but I don't want to give it away.
Sure.
So I don't.
So how would you rate yourself?
No, 7 or 8, I guess.
7 or 8. Good for you. And so, other than the ad I saw, Elmer, what other methods are you using for marketing the home?
Well, we got to sign the yard, and we've had open houses on the weekends here.
So you're doing some open houses?
Sure.
Okay, great. And I see by the ad that you're asking $460,000. How did you determine the sales price?
Well, we know that our neighbors, well, they were our ex-neighbors, and they sold theirs for $475,000. That was about 8 months ago.
Okay. And so would you say that your home and their home are comparable?
Yeah, pretty much so.
Great. And are you prepared to adjust your price down anymore in working with a buyer?
Well, possibly a little, not much.
Okay.
We're wanting to maximize what we can get.
I don't blame you for that, that's for sure. And so why did you decide to sell yourself rather than list with a real estate agent?
Well, you guys charge, an arm and a leg, and we're trying to get as much money as we possibly can out of it ourselves.
Sure. And Elmer, if you were to list, which agent do you think you'd list with?
Oh, I'm not sure.
You're not sure. You don't have anybody in mind at this time.
Well, a bunch of people, have been calling us, and it's everybody's trying to set an appointment with us, and we're just not really ready to do that this time.
Sure, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, Elmer, if you were to list, what would you expect the agent to do to actually sell the property?
Oh gosh, probably open houses every weekend, and lots of flyers going out to the neighbors and everything, and doing whatever you guys do.
Okay.
It's got to get sold.
Sure. And so you would expect someone to do a lot of open houses and pass out flyers and things like that. And,
Yeah.
and so are you familiar with the techniques that I use, Elmer, to sell so many homes here in the area?
Well, I don't know you. No, I don't know what you do.
Okay, well, great. When would be a good time to show you? Looking here at my schedule, I have an opening on Friday at 2, or would 4 o'clock on Tuesday be better?
Well, as I said, we're going to be, waiting, to do something for a couple more months here before we, want to list an agent if we don't get it sold.
And so you're thinking you still wanted to try for a little bit more yourself.
Right.
And let me ask you this, Elmer, if I had a buyer for your property, would you co-op at this time?
Yeah, we give you, some money if you run a buyer.
Great.
Do you have a buyer?
Well, I haven't seen the home yet, so naturally I can't say I'd have a home. Because what I'd like to do, Elmer, is I'd like to schedule a time to get together with you, take a look at your home, and then while I'm there, take a few minutes and show you what we do to sell so many homes, so that if it's of interest to you, at least a couple months from now, when you're ready to put it on the market, hopefully you remember who I am. So would Friday afternoon at 4 or Tuesday afternoon at 4 be better?
Well, Tuesday wouldn't work for us. Friday, gosh, do you have anything on Thursday?
Not right now. I already have a 2 o'clock and a 4 o'clock on Thursday. I could make it there at 2 o'clock on Friday if that would be better.
2 o'clock on Friday would be better.
Okay.
And you're just coming to look at the house.
Well, what I'd like to do, Elmer, is when I come and look,
Okay.
and what I'll do before I get there is I will do some homework, and so I can show you the comparables for the area and everything, and show you what we do to sell so many homes here.
Well, that'd be okay, but we're not ready to put it on the market with anybody.
Sure. But let me ask you this, Elmer.
Okay.
If what I said makes sense, and if you felt comfortable and confident that I could sell your home and get you to LA with the amount of money that you wanted to get there,
Okay.
would you list your home with me when I came out Friday?
Well, we're not sure. I mean, as I said, we're wanting to wait, for another month or so.
But you'd keep an open mind.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you planning on interviewing more than one agent for the job of selling the property when you do?
Well, yeah, once we get to that point, we might, we probably want to talk to a couple people.
Okay, so you might interview more than a couple.
Yeah.
Okay. And just so I could be of most assistance when we do get there, now you're moving to LA.
Right.
And you have to be there no later than
We have to be there within 3 months.
3 months.
Mhm.
And so what if I could actually sell your home in the next couple of weeks? Would that be a problem?
No, that wouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
I mean, that'd be good, but, we're not really wanting, well, if you got a buyer,
Mhm.
as I said, we give you some money if you could bring us a buyer.
Okay. But so if I could sell it in the next 2 weeks, that would be good.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
If you could sell it.
And so Elmer, when we do get together on Friday, how much are you thinking that you wanted to list the home for?
Well, I didn't say I was going to list it this Friday.
Right. But when it does come time to actually list the home, how much are you thinking you're going to list it for?
Well, we're asking 460.
Right. So is that the number that you're thinking?
Well, yeah, that's what we'd like.
Okay, great. And of course, Elmer, as a professional real estate agent,
Mhm.
I study homes and prices every day. Therefore, I assume that you would list with me at a price that would cause your home to sell, correct?
Yeah, if we were to go with you,
Yeah. I mean, you're not expecting to get more than fair market value, right?
right.
Okay, great. And so what price won't you go below?
All right. So, Dave, you there?
Yep.
So, first of all, guys, I hope the sound apologies. I'm not your tech department, of course. On there is that's one of my favorite videos to watch, and we really are grateful that Dave did that for Bold years ago. First thing is, Dave, was that a real call?
Yes.
Did you have any warning? Talk about that call right there? Because a lot of people tell me that was staged. How many calls they make to get there? It was a for sale by owner. Is that right?
Yes.
And so tell us about that call. Did you make it out? Did you pull it up on your dialer? How did it come up?
When I started in real estate, there was a lot of for sale by owners. And so I kind of focused in. And so over the years, I've always called for sale by owners. I think they're just people that are already got their hand up advertising they want to sell my property. And so, we're just going through my for sale by owner list that day and, came across Elmer. Naturally, I had some other conversations that didn't go that smooth. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's the key there. So talk a little bit about what makes you, because I consider you one of the best lead generators that's really ever done the business. And what are some of the components? And, instead of asking the group, I'm going to ask you, and I hope they learn from this, is first of all, anybody on the call who on here in this call, just well to speak up, heard all the scripts he was using? Did anybody hear them? Yeah, if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable, guys, that is a verbatim script. Have you seen what I do to get homes sold? Those are all just scripts you studied over the years. Is that right, Dave?
And you'll notice that when I first started, I was looking at my flip chart there because I was reading a for sale by owner script. And then when I made the appointment, I took another sheet out and that was the pre-qualifying script. And I just read the questions to him.
Right. Yeah, I heard in the very end, and I cut it off. He went a little bit further. He actually went into pre-qualifying questions, the ones that I told you, if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable, are you prepared to list with me that day? And so that was the pre-qualifying, the beginning of the pre-qualifying, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Dave?
Yeah.
So talk to everybody about being a great lead generator. So, you focus on listings a lot. And what are some components that you really focus on of things you did wrong, things you did well? How can anybody in this call become a better, just good lead generator? Talk about what makes you good and what things you do.
Let me grab a sheet.
There you go.
So, like I said, when I started, I didn't have any money and I knew we were supposed to talk to people. And so one of the things that I used to do, you probably can't see this, before we had computer systems for keeping track of all our numbers or whatever. I used to keep track of 31 different numbers. And one of the numbers that I kept track of was how much I got paid per hour and how much I got paid let's see, income per hour. So in 1997, I got paid $230.81 for every hour I prospected. That was a pretty good job, $230 an hour. By 1999, I was up to $544.60 an hour for prospecting. How many would work for $500 an hour? And if you were getting paid $500 an hour for doing something, how many hours a day would you do that job? I mean, would you just kind of like do it a half hour and that's good enough? By 2003, I got paid $1,040.16 for every hour that I prospected.
What year was that, Dave?
That was in 2003.
How much was it?
It was, $1,040.16 per hour of prospecting.
And just walk through the basics on how you calculated that. You calculated how?
I just took total income divided by hours of prospecting.
So that's hours of prospecting time. Does that include, just for clarity, people, does that include follow-up time? Does that
Yes.
include any other, does that include appointment time?
No, it means one of the things that the amount of success I've had in real estate, one of the things that I pride myself on, I was very disciplined to start my prospecting at 8 o'clock in the morning, and between 8 and 11, I didn't do anything other than work with a headset on, or I used to do a lot of door knocking, but you know, you could talk to a lot more people with the telephone. And so people couldn't interrupt me. My wife couldn't interrupt me. Affiliates, if they ever tried to interrupt me, the first time they were told nicely, and then the second time they were warned heavily, and then the third time I said, you ain't ever going to get any of my business if you ever interrupt me again between 8 and 11, because that was, it's showtime. That is the money-making time.
Yeah. So I've heard that, by the way, and you and I have talked about that. He literally would, of course, he was lead generating from a landline, headset, and everything. You would hand your phone to your assistant as you were walking in. Is that correct? Did I hear that right?
Well, nobody knew my cell number. I mean, in the 31 years I was in the business, I didn't give my cell number out to people. If I happened to call an agent back they were calling about a listing, if I happened to call them back on a cell phone, and then we would go into escrow. If they called me on my cell phone, I said, you need to lose this number, because first of all, I don't know anything about what's going on when they're in escrow. That's my wife's job. So.
Got it. So early on, when you were lead generating, if you were talking to an agent right now and I saw you on a while ago, you heard me those statistics, 184 listings taken in our MLS. So you give you an idea of Tucson, our ad is, we got 1 million people in our county, 1,784 listings taken. So the first thing I take from that is there's a lot of listings to be taken right now. There's still listings going out there. Inventory is really low.
Yes, and I heard the young lady say, we know that how fast things go, they fly off the shelf. I know in San Diego, Greg, who's taken over my business there, when he gets a listing, he'll get 5-6 offers within a day or two. I mean, the question is, can you get paid faster with a good listing or a good buyer? My belief is you can get paid much faster with a good listing than you can with a good buyer.
Yeah, it's quick. I don't like to use the word quick money, although it's the faster side right now. And the frustrations that go with the buyer side are endless. Competitive, multiple offers. I mean, the lenders are calling and sending letters like, this is a good buyer. We've already pre-qualified them, doing anything they can to sell that buyer to the seller. So that's the reason you're on the right track for us, is the opportunities are there as one. There's listings are the absolute leverage right now, because as soon as you get a listing, like you said, you sell it right away of doing it. So, what are some things, what I do want to talk about is your environment and your lead generation. You kind of alluded to it. You walked in, talked about your setup. You talked about, you know, I noticed that you have your scripts up there and you have your calendar down there, and you got it. So talk about your environment, how important that is for you to lead generate.
Well, first of all, to get in the right mind frame to do the lead generating that I did, that started at 5 o'clock in the morning. 5 o'clock in the morning, I would do my meditations, I'd do my reading, I'd look at my goals. I would, you know, see where I was financially, you know, every day. I would do affirmations. I would, for 20 years, I had a role play partner like at 7:45 to 8 o'clock, 5 days a week. I would have a different role play partner each day. And so like David, if you were my role play partner, we would be role play partners for 90 days. And then after 90 days, I would get somebody new. And so I didn't look at my emails. I didn't check my voicemails. I started work, the real world knew they could get, and I used to tell the sellers this. When they said, what are you going to do to sell my listing? I would tell them my schedule kind of, and I'd say, I will do this for you. If you attempt to get a hold of me in the morning, anytime between 8 and 11, and if you're successful, I'll sell your property for nothing. I won't charge you a dime. And you know, I kind of trained my clients many times at 12 o'clock, they'd be calling, is Dave done prospecting yet? Can I talk to him now? Because there's nothing in your personal life or your business life that can't wait until 11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, Dave, say that again. I want everybody to hear that, of how important that is. Say that again. There's nothing in your personal life or your business life that can't wait until 11 o'clock in the morning. Or like I just tell people, there's only one reason why you wouldn't lead generate, and that's because of a death in the family, yours. Other than that, you're going to, you know, and so I would prospect 200 days out of the year. That leaves me 165 days to, like I said, I love fishing. And so there was years where I would take 10 weeks and go fishing. So if you're disciplined to do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, it'll give you so much freedom to do the fun things in life that many people join real estate because they think, well, I got all this freedom and all this flexibility. You haven't earned it yet. And until you've earned that, and if you, I mean, over the years, I've had probably a couple hundred people come and watch me prospect for a day. And when I get done, I ask them, so what'd you learn? And they always say, you just read those scripts to people. I mean, and my listing presentation, I had it typed out. I would lay it on the table and read it to them and fill in the blanks. I mean, how hard, if you can read, how hard is it? But yet, for years, I practiced my listing presentation every day, and I would record it by myself in the conference room, and I would even give it to a blank chair without saying anything, but practicing my facial expressions, my hand expressions, because it's showtime. And so when I go into a listing, I'm going to either get 10,000 or nothing. They don't say, well, that was pretty good, I'll give you 4,000 for that presentation. No, you either get 10,000 or nothing. And the listing is definitely, I've made some notes here, about 75% of my business was always listings. The other 25% came from listings that I sold them something else, or somebody that called in one of my listings that wanted to buy that house. And reading the scripts, I was successful 85% of the time of getting listings with total strangers. And my belief is there's 3 parts to getting a listing. Part 1 is if you use scripts to set the appointment, that is setting you apart from the rest of the real estate world. Number 2, and the most important part,
is when you're pre-qualifying them. And if you've done a good job on part 1 and part 2, part 3 is just showing up and filling out the paperwork, because it can be that easy. Because after a good, thorough pre-qualifying script, they're pretty well committed to listing with you already.
Yeah, and so that video that we showed a while ago, Dave, is there's a lot of components that people need to realize in there that you could probably talk about. Is he's using things called embedded commands. If you've ever taken Bold, we teach embedded commands. He's very well. You've used presupposition, all the language of sales, NLP stuff. Have you taken classes on neurological NLPs, language of sales? How did you learn those things?
I learned it too. I did take NLP a couple of times, but over the years, I would fly to Florida or different states to watch a great prospect, to just spend the day with them. And so I was willing to learn from people that had already better at it than I was. And so I just mimicked what they did.
Yeah. Another thing you do on there is, I'm curious how they learn to do it, is, guys, if you watch that video, he asked for the close around 10 times, if not more. And, he never made it uncomfortable. He never made it where he was overbearing. One thing you do well, though, in that video, and you do well, is ask questions. Is that something you had to learn how to do? Talk about, because if people get stuck a lot of times because they get to a no, or I didn't say I was going to list with you. You followed up with a question. How did you learn that? And how do people on this call learn to do that skill?
Again, I had role play partners 5 days a week for 20 years. And so if you always agree with them, repeat and affirm what they said, and then just ask the next question. I remember when I first started Scripps, when I found out there was Scripps 6 months after being in the business, I would start with the for sale by owner script and say, well, we're not listening. No, we're not interested. And I get down to the end. Well, are you familiar with the techniques that we use to sell? No. When would be a good time to show you? Well, Tuesday at 4 would be fine. I was shocked that you just told me no. And before I knew there was such a thing as scripts, we all have scripts.
Right.
They're your own. They're maybe not working as good as they could, but I could identify motivation. So if I found a for sale by owner that had motivation, I just stopped by to see them 2 or 3 times a week. And my script was, hi, I'm back. You give up yet? That was my script when I first started. And the first year I was in real estate, I sold 40 properties and I didn't know anybody in San Diego. But there was days when I would go out door knocking for 8 hours and I would walk 4 hours away from my car, because then I had to walk 4 hours back. And so, because this was not a game to me. This was my chance to really turn my life around and really, set myself up financially. And, I'm not the smartest guy around. If we were having an intelligent quiz here today, I don't want to participate. But I am street smart, I am determined, and I am disciplined. And so with a little bit of discipline, and if you don't know the scripts, you practice, just like any professional athlete. How many hours do they practice to get good at it? Yeah. They just learn how to run a down and out one time, and then they never practice it again. They practice it. Like Diana says, professionals don't practice till they get it right. They practice until they can't get it wrong.
Yeah, and even though you said you had the scripts in front of you, that's what I heard on that video. Even though you say that was earlier in your career, so to speak, is that what you said?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
The video you did that we showed, where was that in your career? I get the impression that it was earlier, or no?
Yeah, I think it said it was. What said there, what year I had been selling real estate 19 years is what it said there. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So it was later. What I see in that video is you a lot of people look at a script, like if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable, they read that script and they freak out. You've heard people do that. When they hear you do it, but what they don't understand is you're being paid that $10,000 you mentioned, not for the 2 hours you spent at their house or hour and a half. You're being paid for the 2,000 hours you used to practice.
That's right. That's right. Like there's a guy that was in our office who used to play professional football, and he said a professional football game has 11 minutes of live plays. 11 minutes. That's it. The rest of it is, whatever. And so during those 11 minutes, he would say he was a defensive end, and he would say he could tell, he looked at how the other person held their hand when they were in the downs. I mean, and so like when you really do something often, I'll never forget the time I had a guy fly in from Reno here. He flew to San Diego to come and watch me prospect, and he was listening on the other line. And I said, every time I get a lead, I'll raise my hand. And a couple of times they only said one or two statements and I raised my hand. He said, how did you know it was a lead? I said, you can tell by the way they pause. You could tell by the way they said something. And so when you do something a lot, it gets easier.
Yeah. The books say, the two books, Outliers and Towns Overrated, 10,000 hours. And so, I look at, like, even me as a bold coach, I got 8,000 hours of floor time in a bold room. And I say, why are you so comfortable? Well, it's not just because I just walked in,
right.
And so you've got, how many hours of practice do you have? It's got to be more than 10,000 easy.
Yeah. I mean, I forget what the number was, but I did kind of calculate one time how many hours I've had prospecting, and I have more than my 10,000 hours.
Yeah. There's a question on here I'm going to go ahead and ask. Sean Edgar, I love it. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. Yeah, thank you, Sean, for repeating that in there. There's a question here. I think it's a good mechanical question. When lead generation, would you recommend time blocking each type of call? For sale by owners, expireds, and DTD2 is our new term for database calling, which you probably heard. How did you time block that? That's a good question.
So some days when I came in to start prospecting, I didn't feel like doing it. I mean, and I felt like a wimp. And so on those days, I just called people that knew me and get some loving. Other days I felt like I'm ready to take on the world, man. Give me any expired or for sale by owner, And so a lot of times I plotted it by how I felt that day, if you will, or, I'm big at, I can set a yearly goal, but then I have to break it down to a monthly goal and a weekly goal and focus on those types of things rather than the because I can get lost in the yearly goal.
Yeah. So I like what your answer is, uncomfortable. Did you time block though a specific time for sale by owners? Like I would do it during this time, or did you just pull them up and call all of them for that day?
Monday was a good time to call for sale by owners because over the weekend they just had some failures of doing open houses, and so I found they were a little more easier to get to on Monday, if you will.
Yeah.
And in today's market, I think it's crazy for someone to be for sale by owning.
Yeah.
They sell it to one person, and you can put it on the market and get 5 or 6 offers and get more money.
Yeah. Today's market with Zoom and people being a little more scared and all that, do you think all these rules still apply? Is there anything that you do a little differently now during COVID times? Are you doing anything on Zoom? Are you doing anything like that? Any appointments yet?
If you remember, David, the time that I gave you a ride to the airport.
Yeah.
And David made a little mockery of the fact that I had cassette tapes in my car.
I posted it on Facebook, actually, I think. I think we did a selfie on Facebook. He gave me a ride. He took Bold from me in San Diego and gave me a ride to the airport. Cassette tape.
And so my point is that I and technology don't get along real well. And so, but I have made the statement that if I was still in San Diego when this hit, and if I was still actually in real estate, I believe my real estate business would increase tremendously. This COVID deal is an excellent opportunity for those that want to improve themselves. It's an excellent time to step up to the plate, because a lot of your competitors have gone home and waiting until this goes away. I can't sell real estate, not in this market, whatever. Every time we've had a downturn, and I've been through 3 of them, shifts in the market, my business always went up. And it's a mindset is the main thing.
Yeah, there's the people that are lead generating right now are gaining more. We're having record months. Our agents that are lead generating are having record months. I mean, we did 10% of the listings last month. Guys, we made up around 20% of all the closings last month in MLS.
And so David, what percent of the agents you have, to kind of correlate that to if Keller Williams took 10% of the listings, does Keller Williams have 10% of the agents?
Yeah, that's what Jody, Lisa, I think we have probably about 7-8% of the agents. We have 410 agents.
So there's approximately 6,800 licensed agents in MLS. And if we only have 400, whoever can do that math will give us the percentage.
I think you should do it, Jody.
Wait.
We have about 5% of the agents.
5.8%.
Yeah. 6% of the agents and 10% of the listings taken in 1 month. Not total inventory. I was just looking at one snapshot of what was taken that month.
And so my belief is that the Keller Williams agents are much better than the average agent out there. And so your goal there, David, at 25% is totally realistic. So if you have 400 agents and everybody got one listing, there's 400, and so if you, I used to have a theme early on, close one deal a month is what I started out thinking. And then I changed that to how can I close one transaction a week? And then I changed that to say, how can I get a piece of business today? And so if you as a organization took on, did you get your one? I got my one. If everybody in the organization got a minimum of one listing per month, and those that are already getting several listings, just increase your listing by your goal by one extra a month, your 25% is realistic for sure.
Yeah.
And then as you move up the ladder, as you go from 10 to 15 to 20%, of course, there'll be more signs out, more people will see it. It'll become easier and easier to move up the percentage wise.
Yeah. Well, Dave, I could go on for this for hours. We went 8 minutes over and not a single person dropped off the calls. So apparently we're not boring them. Fantastic information. I think, you're right on track with where we're going with what we're doing. I love that just understanding that Keller Williams agents are getting more market share than the average agent. I love that. That's a big positive right there. And we're seeing that happening across the board. One of the things we used to advertise is of the companies that were larger, we had the largest transaction per agent in the city. And that's a good statistic to take to a listing presentation. So, well, guys, I'd love to open it up. I think, go ahead, Dave.
What I was going to say, if I can help any one of you in any way, if you were struggling with your prospecting, would like to have a quick conversation about your mindset or whatever. Like David, I was a coach for 17 years. This is my personal cell number. It's 619-977-4314. And, if you have some questions or whatever, feel free to pick up the phone. I'd be glad to see what I could do to help you out.
Well, Dave, you've always been a blessing to me, always been open. And anything we can ever do for you. And I'd love to have you back, honestly, maybe even get to some role plays and things like that. I know we have videos on doing those, but today's conversations sometimes go different. At the same time, they're still following scripts. I think the things to take away from you in the video is ask questions and practice. That's what I hear a lot in here. And you are also willing to travel to learn. You invested in yourself. So that's,
Yes.
so you win. So, all right. Well, guys, I'm fine. Nobody left off the call. I don't feel bad about being long because nobody left listening in. And Dave, I'd love to have you back. You come across as it's so pragmatic. You make it look too easy, by the way.
Real estate's so easy, it's hard. I mean, truly.
So, well, guys, if y'all don't mind, unmute yourself and just give him a big thank you if you don't mind, and give him some love. He gave you his number. Appreciate it. And Reno, Nevada, Dave, you'll get my referrals over there, and San Diego too, by the way. So
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. It was awesome.
you guys,
Thanks for the invite.
you're very welcome. Dave, thank you.
You bet. My pleasure, buddy.
Thank you.